a kind of business group, but we're going to tie in some metaphors and stories that I've got from the health and fitness world and things that you can probably relate to the concept of self-discipline. Okay. First of all, I'd just like to ask, just by a quick show of hands, how many, just because of some of the examples I'll be using today. Sam? No, the question is coming. No. Just by a quick show of hands, how many people in here currently exercise regularly or semi-regularly?
Getting out of bed includes things.
Yeah. Okay.
Brushing your teeth is
So quite a few people. And those people haven't raised their hands. Have you exercised in the past? Yeah. So everyone's got a basic sort of knowledge of some of the things that they've done before and should be able to relate some of what I say to themselves or to a past experience, okay? And just by a really quick show of hands again, just how many people would say that, this is quite a complicated question, we'll go into a little bit more, but how many people would say that they consider themselves to be disciplined or to possess good self-discipline?
Fitness, you mean?
It's difficult because training for the London Marathon. How would you imagine that what's he gonna do to train for the London Marathon?
Run.
Go to the gym every night.
The said principle, it's specific adaptation to increased demand.
Yeah,
so whatever you're going to be good at, you go and do that.
Yeah, so specificity. So if Ray's training for the London Marathon, he's not going to go down to the swimming pool every morning and do 50 lengths of swimming. That's not going to improve his running. It would improve his cardiovascular health, but it won't improve his running. In the same way, if Ray does lots of running to train for the London Marathon, that's not going to improve Ray's cycling. It will raise his cardiovascular base, but if he gets on a bike, he won't necessarily be any better on the bike than he was last time he got on a bike. Yeah, it's very specific, and that's how I want us to think about self-discipline. Yeah, so it's very, very specific. If you want to improve your self-discipline around reviewing, around planning, around goal setting, around certain tasks within your business, it won't necessarily improve it in all areas. But if you gradually start to strengthen your self-discipline in one area, then it will give you more confidence and have knock-ons into other areas. Just like it will raise your cardiovascular base from running that will transfer over to swimming and cycling. So what I really do believe is that there is a kind of a path to taking action, or a path that will help you to take action. And I don't think it's as simple as saying, I'm going to improve my self-discipline and just going out and doing it. So what I think, this is just something I put together, a mental path to action where we chunk up and we look at the bigger picture first. So it all comes down to your values, your motivation, that sort of thing is going to dictate how much self-discipline you have in a particular area, okay? So tying back into yesterday when Ray asked, or Sam asked, I can't remember, which, are there any books that you've read, any films that you've watched, any people you've seen speak that really inspired you? And we could all sort of pinpoint a book or something that had inspired us. So inspiration, it really is what I see as like an external spark. It's just the initial sort of impetus to get us going, yeah? And most things that inspire us externally. So we get that from many different sources, which we said, seminars, workshops, books, film, DVD, that sort of thing. Next thing is motivation. So once we're inspired, then the motivation for continuing in the process is then down to us. That's an internal process that we have to develop. I, as a fitness professional, get lots of people coming to me saying, I want you to motivate me. I need motivation. I want you to motivate me, and I'm sure you guys do as well. And Ray and Sam as coaches. No one can motivate you. You're the only person who can motivate you is yourself. People can inspire you, but then it's your responsibility to build that motivation internally, and then that will come from your values and all of that sort of thing. What you feel motivated to do. Again, from a mental point of view, you get into a comfort zone where we've all worked with comfort zones before from a kind of mental point of view with the coaches. But you get into a point of view where you're very comfortable doing what you're doing. To instigate any type of change in any area of your life, including your self-discipline, you need to step out of your comfort zone. You need to start pushing yourself. So with weight training, what you would do, who's done any resistance training before?
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah, most people. What happens when you do resistance training is you select a weight to start training with, okay? And that weight is very important that it's not too heavy, and this is all going to tie in really nicely in a minute. It's not too heavy that you can't lift it, and it's not too light that you could just lift it all day, because that's not going to do anything either. It needs to be a weight that you select that's near to your limit, so that you can maybe lift it between 8 and 12 times. It's close to your limit. That's going to train you. And then your body will adapt to lift that weight, or to do that specific task, or to run that extra kilometre, or whatever it is. That's Skype or?
No. Meant to put an induction.
Okay. So you know what you can do. It's called progressive training, or progressive resistance training, and we're going to progressively increase our ability to be self-disciplined at certain tasks. So then the next time you go to the gym, you might increase that weight by a very, very small increment, you know, by a few percent of what you were lifting. And then you'll work on lifting that. And then you'll go away, and then your body will adapt to being able to lift that weight. The next time you go back, you'll increase it by a very, very small increment again. So the whole time you're building on success. And whenever I train someone, you don't want someone to come in and you give them a weight they can't lift. That's demotivating. You failed. You don't feel good about yourself. You want to do something you can achieve, but stretches you enough, and then step it up to the next level. It stretches you enough. Step it up to the next level, okay?
There's a shocking video that went on the internet.
Earlier. Once you've actually been displaying and building and showing your self-discipline within a certain area or a certain task for a certain amount of time, it then becomes a habit and doesn't require self-discipline to do. So everyone can probably think of something that at one time took a lot of self-discipline to do, that now they do almost as a habit.
Go to the gym.
I was thinking earlier about this. If you think about a little kid,
if you don't go,
if you think like a little kid, how many people have got children? Just so I can see. Yeah, a lot of people have got children. So when you're a little kid, I remember for myself, when you're very, very young, you're learning to brush your teeth. To begin with, you brush your teeth, and you brush your teeth because you're told to. And then a lot of the time, you know, you might be coming out to go to school in the morning. If you brush your teeth, and then the kid's like, "Yeah, I'll brush my teeth." Well, we're going to take your toothbrush or whatever.
Yeah,
no, you haven't brushed your teeth. You've got to brush your teeth. And it's a real. But once you do that, it takes a lot of conscious thought and effort, and someone pushing you to do it. But now, how many people would walk out the door in the morning without brushing their teeth, right?
No, I do occasionally.
Actually, I go to the gym very early. Occasionally.
Just quickly, guys, as well, if you're interested in what I've talked about a little bit today, I thought about this because I look back and I've written 2 blogs on this subject. Okay, if you go to uniqueresults.co.uk, and there's a blog link at the bottom. There's 2 blogs I've written. One's called The Discipline Delusion, and one's called Inspiration versus Motivation, which ties into what I was talking about, one being external, one being internal. And the discipline delusion is really about how you have to tie your goals to your values. And once you do that, and once you're 100% behind your goals, because they link with your values, and they link with your beliefs, and they link with everything else, it then becomes much, much easier to reach your goals. Does anyone have any questions at all? I think we've been asking as we've gone, but... No? Okay, thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.